protein, 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 proteins, 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 protein, 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 protein,
Protein, protein, protein, proteins, proteins, protein, protein, protein.
Thank you to everybody who has subscribed recently. Don't think that we don't notice. We love the views, we love the comments, we love all of the new subscribers, and we love seeing that this show is growing. If you like this show, the best thing you can do to support it is hit that subscribe button, and if you want to take it one step further, please share any and all episodes. Thank you. Let's get on to the show. Welcome to Bear It All, the Kintsugi Chronicles, here on the I Am Not Okay channel, where we gather our broken pieces in search of gold. Today, we are sitting here in our gym at Bare Knuckle Strength. I am back with my good friend and partner, coach, Jeremy Palmer. And today, we are chopping it up on protein. I would call this the most important macronutrient. Not that the others are unimportant. I would call it the most important because as we get older and we age, our muscle is just indispensable, meaning literally the muscles on our body, they allow us to live longer. For us, they create the shock absorption to keep our bones healthy and safe, and they allow us to do all the things that we want to do. And we realize that there is a lot of misinformation and just not even understanding what protein is, how to consume it, how much to consume, when to consume it, etc., etc. So before I get started on this, Jeremy, do you have anything to add there to the intro?
I think you covered just about everything on that. One other piece of the puzzle for skeletal muscle would be that the more you have on your skeleton as you move forward with age, the more you're able to process sugars and other things that you take in through your diet. It's a really important piece of the puzzle for that as we get older as well. So that would be the only thing I would add to that. You covered everything else pretty explicitly.
That's a great addition. And so let's get right to it. So what is protein? Protein is a molecule that is made up of amino acids that are the base structure for things like skin and nails and hair and muscles. So the amino acids being, we'll say, a very important part of that. And before I go any further, do you have anything to add to what is protein?
No.
No. Okay. So now we agree that's what protein is, a molecule made up of amino acids that is the base structure for our skin, our hair, our muscles, etc. All right. So some of the sources of protein, animal sources of protein and non-animal sources of protein. So here we go. Some of the animal sources that I would personally recommend these because they have been tested to have very little to no allergic reaction, meaning I feel safe that most people could eat these things. If I mention something that you know you are allergic to or doesn't sit well with you, by all means, please omit it. I am not telling you you should eat it. This is more of a general overview of a lot of the sources, and then we can narrow down the best ones for you.
Great.
So anchovies, black cod, clams, duck, goose, herring, mollusks, chicken, lamb, turkey, oysters, pheasant, pollock, scallops, venison, wild salmon. That was 17 sources right there that have been tested to have little to no allergic reaction. Those would be, we call, more animal sources. If we want to add some in addition that have been shown, certain people can have allergic reactions or not do as well on red meat, eggs, things like that. Before I move on to the non-animal sources, did I forget any there?
I think you got most of them. I think you got like most everything that I can think of, and even a few that I wasn't thinking of.
Okay, cool. So there's like 19 to 20 animal sources of protein. Now what we're going to do, let's bring it around to some of the non-animal sources. I'll read my list, and then Jeremy, please yours.
Sure.
Some of the ones that I found that had, we'll say, the most protein and least amounts of fat and carbohydrates: tempeh, seitan, edamame, tofu, kidney beans, lentils, chickpeas. Anything else you'd like to add there?
Tofu. Did you mention that one?
I did.
You did mention tofu. Okay. We talked about eggs already. Avocado has a little bit also, but not as much. Edamame you hit already. I had those on my list. Black beans. We talked about beans.
Yes, any beans, really.
Yep. Cottage cheese is a great source in the dairy world. Tempeh we already had. Seitan we already had on there. So yeah, I think we've covered a good bit of them.
And actually, I did forget one animal source that could be a good crossover if you're not a vegan or like what is it? What was the
Lacto-ovo vegetarian?
Lacto-ovo vegetarian. So we have Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
Personally, that's one of my favorites. Again, if dairy doesn't sit well with you, then maybe that's not one of your favorites. However, it's got a lot of protein and not a lot of fat, and it's a great place to start if you're able. So that's, again, that there is almost 30, 35 sources if we count them all up. I would like to hope, not a great strategy, that this is a great place to start. We can always expound on this, and we'll go from there. Do you have anything to add before I move forward?
Nope.
Cool. All right. So now what we want to talk about, yes, it's okay to eat animal proteins if that's what works for you. Yes, it's okay to eat non-animal proteins if that's okay with you. We think you should know there are some differences between those proteins. The biggest difference, animal proteins have the complete essential amino acids. There are 22 amino acids in all. All animal sources have the 9 essential amino acids. Feel free to look up what those are, but all animal sources have those. All the non-animal sources are not complete, meaning maybe those beans don't have all 9 essential amino acids. So you may have to or want to consider supplementing with a amino acid powder or a pill or a tablet or something like that. Just something to think about when it comes to the differences between animal and non-animal proteins. Anything I forgot there?
I think you covered it.
Moving on. All right. So one of the questions that we get the most is, how much protein should I eat? It's a great question. I'm going to do my best to make it really simple. How much do you want to weigh? Now, if you are a 200-pound person who is looking to get down to 150 pounds, the daily recommended allowance for a person who wants to lose weight is somewhere between 0.75 grams and 1 gram per pound of desired body weight. Meaning, if you want to weigh 150 pounds and you ate 1 gram per pound of body weight, that's at least 150 grams of protein we would want to see you eating every day. On the lower end, 0.75, I'm going to do some shoddy math. It's probably like 120 grams, something like that. If you want to knock out real quick and tell me what that is. 150 grams or 150 times 0.75.
112.5.
Okay. 112. So let's say if you want to weigh 150 pounds, you're probably going to want to eat at least 115 to 150 grams of protein to maintain the muscle that you have and keep that body weight where it would be. Now, we do have some folks that want to build muscle. They want to get bigger. It's not always fat loss. It's not always weight loss. Sometimes we have a few individuals here who could stand to put on a few pounds and some muscle. So if you are in the place of working to build muscle and or keep your weight up, the recommendation is somewhere between 1 gram to 1.5 to 2 grams per pound of desired body weight. That's a lot. That means if you want to weigh 150 pounds of rock solid muscle, you might need to eat 200 to 300 grams of protein a day to build up to that. That's a lot. We're going to show you what that looks like. It's not as hard as it sounds. Did I forget anything there? Is there anything you'd like to add?
Not at all.
Okay,
Nope.
we're
Ready
rolling
to go.
today, baby.
We're going to keep moving.
Okay. So now, again, those were very general. If what I just said doesn't make sense, please put a question down below. Tell me what your goal weight is, and we'll attempt to figure out how many grams of protein you need. I personally weigh about 190 pounds, or I want to. So I work to eat 190 grams of protein every day at a minimum. Sometimes I go over, very rarely do I go under. Most of the time the average is 190 plus. Jeremy does not look like me. I'm about 6 foot. He's about 6'4". I'm like 190. Where he is right now is like 235. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to step back and show you what that difference looks like. All right, so you just saw that clip of me pointing at him. He's a little bit taller than me, man, a lot taller than me, and he's wider. So what he needs in order to maintain his body weight is going to be different than what I need. It's going to be different than what you need. We both have found, and we both just said, we believe that to be a very, very good starting place. So again, if for some reason that didn't land, tell us down below. All right. Now,
Couple of questions.
yes. So, what are the best types and ways to get the grams of protein you need while not going over the calories and fat you need in a day?
That's a great question.
How would you answer that?
Well, the best types. I can't answer the best type for any one person. The best type is the type that you are going to eat, whatever that is. Is it a lot of Greek yogurt? Like I know you eat a full cup of Greek yogurt a day. Great, you could do that. Do you really, really like eating chicken? Like some people do. Like so that could be your best way. Do you really, really like eating meatballs or something to that effect? Like, yes, you'll see in a little while, like I have some of that stuff. The best type is the type that you're going to eat. It's the one that you know you're going to eat and the one that you know that is there. And maybe you're even beginning to look forward to it because at that point it becomes a game in your head that you're like, man, I can't wait to eat this thing because I know I'm building like there's a mindset shift that goes on with this once you get into it. So that would be my answer to the best type. Anything that you would want to add to that?
No. The best type is the type that you will eat and stick to.
Right.
I would start there, and we can work out from there. Adding on top of that, I don't know that I will consider this the best type. More so, I believe if you're in a place where you want to lose weight or continue to build muscle but not add fat, I believe it prudent to look at your protein sources and see if they have roughly a 2-to-1 or even a 3-to-1 ratio, meaning 3 grams of protein per 1 gram of fat, or like 30 grams of protein and 10 grams of fat, something like that. Greek yogurt is a great place for that. Lean chicken breast is a great place for that. Egg whites, shrimp, those tend to be the kinds of protein sources that are high in protein and lower in fat. And
Also lower in calories generally too. So you're getting a lot of your protein in those places without spiking your calories through the roof.
great addition. And again, if you want to lose weight and maintain the weight and not add fat, that's important to know.
Right.
So that would be sort of what I would consider part of not the best kind of protein, but more the best ratio, a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1. Does that mean that you can't have some fatty foods and things every now and again? Absolutely not. Eventually, we'll show you how the Tetris board works, but we have to learn how to kind of dial in those numbers for the special things in life that are worth eating, but might make us not have the body and lifestyle we want if we ate them all the time. So,
Yeah.
Now-
So I don't believe I answered fully that question.
Go ahead.
Honestly, the best ways to get them without exceeding calories, right?
Go
so
for it.
we were talking about that. So one of the secrets, I know, I hate the word hack.
yeah, fair enough.
It's not a great word.
Yeah. Anybody got a better one?
Right. If you have one, let us know. But one of the secrets that I know you use and I use as well is to stack different proteins together.
Correct.
And you'll see some of that in our show and tell that we're going to do in a little while. You'll understand a little bit more about what we say when we're saying stack the proteins together. We really feel like, and especially for me, like John said a little while ago, right? 190 pounds, he's eating 190 grams of protein on a pretty regular basis. Like 235 pounds, I'm eating well over that on a fairly regular basis. And it is not always easy to get 235 grams of protein plus. Sometimes I'm at 250 because I am trying to build some muscle sometimes. And I want to prioritize the protein more than anything else in my calorie intake. So a lot of those things require me to stack the other pieces together, like mixing whey protein into yogurt. Or, it immediately goes from 30 to 55 grams, and I'll show you that as well in a little bit here too. But things like that really go far in helping you to get the stack of protein that you're looking for without overeating calories, overeating your other macros as well. Like, obviously you have to take into account the thing that John said, a 2-to-1 or even 3-to-1 fat to protein ratio. That's not always easy. Manufacturers and makers of food, they hide stuff in there a lot. So you really have to become adept at reading labels and understanding just because something says protein, protein, protein on it. Like, it's everywhere in the grocery store now. I get it. I shop there too. You have to read the label and be like, yeah, where am I getting the protein from though? Like, what is providing it? And how much other crap do I have to take in to get 6 grams of protein in my cereal? Like, how much other filler and junk am I eating there to get that little 6 gram of protein that I could get from an egg? Like, one egg, that's it. Like, I could get exactly that from one egg. So that I would add that, and we can move on from there.
That's a great addition. So now, what are the best times of the day to eat protein versus others? Should you have a lot of protein before you go to bed? Should you eat it early?
Good questions.
How should we do this?
Great questions.
So let's start with, what will you do?
Yeah. Bring it right back to that again. Like, what is comfortable for you? Have you been able to eat and then go right to bed? Does that work for you? It doesn't work for me. I know that. But if it does work for you, then great. But when will you eat it?
Yeah.
That's a great place to start. Like, so yeah.
So from there, when will you eat it? Now, the truth is, you probably don't know. So guess what? I'm going to give you some guidelines, and I'm going to give you not what I think you should do, what I believe physiologically or just works with the rhythm of how people work. I believe front-loading your protein in the morning, i.e. almost probably 30 to 40 grams within 30 minutes to an hour of waking, that's going to basically set the tone for your whole day. There has been some science behind it to show that if you actually get 30 to 40 grams in, almost 30 minutes to an hour, it will actually start to boost your fat loss. I'm not going to go ahead and say, yeah, I think that's why you should do it. It's more along the lines of start your day with the thing that your body needs. The reason we're so adamant about you eating protein is because your body does not store proteins. Okay? You have to eat this amount every day if you want to keep your muscles intact. If you don't eat that amount every day, your body will start to cannibalize the muscles that you have built in order to gain energy.
Let alone if you want to build muscle.
Yeah. Now, to that point, two things I forgot to add to the sources that we sort of touched on there that will come back real quick. We have protein powders. And there is an animal source and a non-animal source. The animal source, more along the lines of like a whey protein or a goat whey protein, and some others, casein, etc. And then there's also pea proteins, so like a non-animal source. So DP, if you're watching this one, which we hope you are, for you, sir, would be a pea protein along with the non-animal sources for you. Okay, so that addition there. Now we know we should be getting roughly 0.75 to 2 grams per pound of body weight. Let's make it simple. Say it's 1 gram per pound of body weight. I weigh 190 pounds. I want to eat 190 grams. What does that look like? Cool. All right. I'm going to show you some very, very simple things. Do I eat this way all the day, always, every time? No. This is an attempt to show you how simple it can be to get this anywhere, okay? So I'm going to show you a couple things in show and tell land, and then Jeremy's going to show you some things in show and tell land, and we'll kind of bring all this together afterwards. So how I start...
I can confirm, honestly, that he eats this way more often than not.
It's true. I like my decisions to be about the things going on in the business, not the things that I'm eating. So I tend to eat very similarly because it makes it easy. And guess what? I've had lots of clients come to me and say, "Can you just make this easy? Will you do it?" This podcast is sponsored by Bare Knuckle Strength. If you're ready and willing to start getting rid of and or release your pain, one of the best ways that we have found to start doing that is self-myofascial release. We have created a program here at Bare Knuckle Strength. You can get that right now for free by going to www.bareknucklestrength.com/release. www.bareknucklestrength.com/RELEASE. Release. We look forward to seeing you on the inside. Be well. Now, here we go. Okay, what we have right here, this is a package of oven-roasted turkey breast. I got this from Whole Foods. Most likely you can get it most places. The source aside, do your best to get it sort of like in a grass-fed variety, or look at the ingredients and make sure you know what the ingredients are. So I'll go ahead and read these ingredients so you understand. There is turkey breast, there is water, there is potato starch, there is sea salt, there is vinegar powder, and some natural flavors. I had somebody ask me, are you worried that there's potato starch in there? No, I am not. Are you worried that there's natural flavors? No, I am not. If for some reason you are, this probably isn't a good thing for you to eat. However, I'm choosing to eat it. I'm going to show you why. Now, there are 7 servings of protein per container. Every serving has 12 grams of protein per serving. Quick math, 7 times 12 is 84 grams of protein in this whole package. 84 grams right here. Then we come over to what my favorite, really. It's so simple. And guess what? For less than $5, I can get 85 grams of protein. It's hard to beat this. And this is also a 2-to-1, almost a 3-to-1, because there's no fat. This is the non-fat variety. I didn't say that earlier. Can you get the whole fat? Yes. You just have to count those calories. I choose to get the non-fat because it's simpler. I get my fat in other ways, which we'll talk about in a different podcast. Now, this has 17 grams of protein, and there are 5 servings per container. Quick math, 5 times 17 is 85. So I have 85 plus 84, 169. I need 190. Basically, I only need 21 more grams of protein other than this, and I'm set. Which brings me to, ta-da, the good old trusty. This is an animal source of protein. The brand that I get is called Levels. I like it because it has 2 ingredients, whey protein concentrate and sunflower lecithin. I hope I said that properly. Lecithin. And guess what that has per serving? 25 grams of protein. So when I put it together, guess what I have here? 194 grams of protein with 7 grams of carbohydrates in the turkey, 100 grams of carbohydrates in here, no carbohydrates in here. So basically, the bulk of this, if we do 194 times 4, because one thing most people don't know is 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. So when we take 194 times 4, everything sitting here is 776 calories. Yeah, you heard that. 776 calories, and I hit my protein intake for the day. Most of you are probably going to eat more than 800 calories a day, which means now, based on the number of calories you are supposed to eat, which is a whole nother podcast. Let's say I eat 2,000 calories a day. If I can get all my protein with 800 calories, that leaves me 1,200 calories to basically eat whatever the fuck I want. Literally, whatever the fuck I want, and I will hit my markers. Now, I'm not going to eat a bunch of crap and a bunch of foods that make me inflamed and feel bad. I personally choose whole food sources to fill in the rest. And then, yeah, every once in a while, I'll have a piece of chocolate or I'll have a treat or something that I really enjoy. And it really, actually, I have learned that eating this way where I front load my protein, making sure I hit these, my body feels full. Like Jeremy was saying earlier, I am full. I keep my calories low. And now I actually enjoy having a treat or something. And I know that I'm not overeating and it's not going to fat storage. So now I'm going to kick it over to Jeremy and he's going to show you things he might eat for a larger person.
All right. Well, there'll be some carryover. I have to get my empty bowl out of the way first. There will be some carryover. So, sorry, breakfast. I also eat one of those. So I go for a slightly different brand. Either between this one, this is Chobani Greek yogurt, or I really like the Sigis brand Greek yogurt. That's probably my favorite. I go for the vanilla usually because I do like a little bit of the flavor. Doesn't have as much, it doesn't have the sugar in it or anything. It's still fat-free, but this one is 14 grams per serving with 5 5 servings in here. So this is a 70-gram tub to eat if I do eat that in one day. And honestly, I don't eat that in a whole day usually. One of these is generally 3 servings for me. It shows 5, so it's generally 3 servings for me. I would generally eat that, and then I'll show you one of my stacking techniques. So right now I'm using this whey protein, which is Ascent. It's available around in a bunch of places. It's not my preferred one, but it's one that I have right now because it's decent. This is 25 grams in 1 scoop. So if I do a third of this in a bowl with a scoop of this, that's immediately 55 grams of protein. So that's one of the secrets of stacking. Generally, I will add some nuts and or some fruit. I eat a little bit of a cereal every once in a while that doesn't have any grains in it. I currently don't have it, so I'm not eating that right now. But I generally, so as what John was saying earlier, that 30 to 40 grams in the morning, I generally go for more than that. Like 50 to 60 is my shot that I'm looking for most of the time. I also found that for my rhythm, I don't need to eat first thing in the morning. Like I actually need to ramp up a little bit and I'm ready to eat around 9 o'clock. And that's just the way my rhythm works. Everyone has a slightly different play with that, but that actually works a little better for me. So that would be my breakfast. When it comes time for lunch, it's gonna look a lot like what John's look like, right? I also have turkey. It's a slightly different brand, and it doesn't have all of the nutritional facts on it like his does, but I'm getting it from a different place, but I know what it has, and this is 11 grams of protein per 3 slices. So I get a lot out of that. So one way I can do is add maybe 6 slices into my wrap, which I then wrap with one of these guys. This is an Egg Life egg white wrap. There's 6 grams of protein, less than 1 gram of carb, no sugar, 35 calories. Right? So here we are stacking again, right? 11, maybe 22, and 6. There's that. I always have, John likes to make fun of it.
No.
But I bring my own sea salt. I always have my own sea salt. I'm busting. He doesn't make fun of me.
I have my own too.
He has it too. But so that, hello. That might be lunch for me on one day. So this is actually, for me today, this is my food for the day. I just haven't gotten around to eating lunch yet. So I've already eaten breakfast, so there's already a third of that yogurt missing. So there's that. Oh, excuse me. I almost forgot. Slice of cheese. I do like cheese, and I eat a slice of cheese in that. Slice of cheese is going to have 5 grams of protein, and it has a little more fat than it has protein, but I love it. And that's one of the places where I do get my fat from is cheese. Okay? So we got that. In between, I have a couple of snack options. Okay? These are my snack options for in between. Hard-boiled eggs, 6 grams apiece. Every single time. There's 18 grams sitting there. There was 24 because I already ate one. Okay? I keep some of these around a lot. These little guys are chicken meatballs. 11 grams of protein right there. Low calories because it's made from lean chicken. And there's an egg in there too, so that's holding it all together. So there's actually a little more than it would normally be. So I've mapped it out to being right around 11 grams of protein per ball. So that's easy to get in. These guys, RX bars, 12 grams of protein. They're super easy for me to eat. I don't usually like protein bars or anything like that. I'm a real food person. I like eating real food. This tastes like real food to me because it's made with a couple of things. It says it right on it. 3 egg whites, 14 peanuts, 2 dates. That's it. There's nothing else in here. It's fruit, some egg whites, and some peanuts. That's it. They found a great formula for these and it works. So that could be my in-between snacks. And then I don't usually travel with my dinner, but I did bring dinner today just because I wanted everyone to see what dinner might look like. So, today's dinner, this is, can't really see it because I have a topping on top, right? So I have some baked rice right here, and then I have pulled pork, homemade by me. And then I really like fermented items like in my diet. So I have pickled onions and some spicy pickles all chopped up on top of this to give me a little extra flavor and to get that fermentation into my diet. In here, we're looking at almost 50 grams of protein just in this bowl right here. 47 roughly from the pork, and then a couple from the rice because there's a few other things that were added into that, some broth and stuff like that. Overall, that is going to be a way to keep me filled, and then I'll probably have a scoop or two of cottage cheese. I tend to mix it with my rice, or if I'm having a sweet potato or something like that, I'll just take a scoop or two of cottage cheese and mix it around. There's 14 grams of protein in one serving of this cottage cheese, which is only half cup. So 4 servings inside of this thing. I love cottage cheese for the addition of protein that it can do. This is the low-fat version of it. So you can get the non-fat version of it too. I like, again, a little bit of fat into the stuff. I'm not getting it in a lot of the other places where I eat, so I take it in this. I take it in my cheese and my eggs mostly. Like those are the places where I get most of the fat. And then there's going to be some other stuff. Carry some apples around because I get hungry in between this stuff too sometimes. Like, I'm lifting weights too. I'm doing all these things. Like, I get hungry in between. Like, sometimes I need that just to be there. Everything else in here is a supplement, and that's a different podcast. So,
Did you bring your hummus?
I didn't. I ran out of hummus a couple of days ago, so I don't have it for today. But yes, as John said, I do a lot of times spread hummus onto my wrap for my lunch. He sees me do it all the time, which is why he's asking. I'm out of hummus right now, but I do usually like to have something on the wrap before the turkey goes on, and it is generally either hummus or a special thing that I make.
And then to the point for DP,
Yes.
because he is lacto-ovo-vegetarian.
Yep.
DP, you could have one of those wraps with a little hummus spread, and then you could put like beans or something that tofu or something that you want, but here's like a can of black beans that has 7 grams of protein, and there are 3.5 servings per container. So honestly, roughly, there's probably about 28 grams of protein in this. So DP, to make it really simple, you could eat 4 cans of beans and get like 106 grams of protein. It's a lot of beans, and you probably might not want to do that. However, it can be that simple, and we wanted you guys to see that. Now, what do we do with all of this? How do we know how much is how much? He's got these in all these containers. They're already weighed out, etc., which is beautiful. Love seeing that. Let's make it really, really simple, okay? This is my phone. Let's pretend it's a what you weigh things on. So a scale, a food scale. And the food scale that you might want to get should be able to weigh in grams, G. So yeah, sure, ounces, all the other things, but at least make sure it can weigh in grams. And then what I would do is, could I have one of your containers, Jay? So what we do here, right? So here's the scale. And let's say I put the container on top of the scale. And then let's just say I want to get however many grams of beans I need, right? So boop, I turn my scale on with the implement that I'm going to fill on top. And when I turn the scale on and it says G, I should have 0 on the readout. From there, 1 gram one serving of beans is 130 grams. So I would start to scoop beans out into my container until the readout said 130 G. Then I would know that I would get 7 grams of protein, 21 grams of carbs, and 1 gram of fat. Okay? That's how, if we need to track it or break it down or do what we need to do, because we're not just going to eat the whole thing. Again, I like to make it simple. Jeremy wasn't lying. I usually eat one of those packs of turkey, one of the things of Greek yogurt, and I'll either have a protein shake or I'll have a steak or a piece of chicken or shrimp or something to fill in that other 30 to 40 grams. And I have like one real good whole meal. And like he said, I have a bunch of those snacks that are laying around as well that I can eat that have extra protein if I need it. So that's what like weighing it should look like. If we take the weight, and let's say I had 130 grams of black beans, what do we do with that? Where does that go? Well, right now we don't have our own app to do this. So the app that we recommend and the app that we use is called MyFitnessPal. It's free. You can get it right now. Go to your Play Store or your iOS store and download it. Then what you would do is, this is the 365 Whole Foods Market Organic Spicy Black Beans. You would type that into MyFitnessPal. It would pull up this actual, based on the code on the back, the scanning code, right? That can come up and you can enter how many grams you ate and then put it in a diary in the app. And then for each day, put in every food that you ate. So like Jeremy said, 3 slices of turkey was 11 grams. He could put his turkey entry, it gives him 11 grams. Add in his egg white entry, get that 6 grams. Add that smear of hummus, add in whatever grams that might be. And we can stack all of those things together to find out how much we're eating every day. That is about as simple an overview as I can make it. I wanted to tell you what protein is based on what we've come to believe it is, and we've seen that has actually held up through the science or whatever the hell you believe in. That aside, is there more to learn about protein? Yes. Did we talk about carbs and fats? No. Did we talk about how many calories you should eat? No. That stuff aside, it is crucial to make sure you are eating enough protein every day. So if I were your coach, and I hope that one day I am, if I'm not already, and Jeremy is too, or will be, we would recommend 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Start there. Just get that. Do that for 4 to 6 weeks, and then what happens? Have you gained weight? Have you lost weight? Have you stayed the same? Has nothing changed?
Do you feel better?
We will know if there's a dial to turn, but we need to start somewhere. This is the start. Hopefully we've made this as simple as possible. Jeremy, is there anything you'd like to add?
I think we covered a lot, and in an effort to not make this very confusing or overly confusing, wordy or anything, I don't think I'm going to add anything more to it, because we've given a whole bunch of information and some things and some ideas out here. I don't think we need to overcomplicate it any more than this for right now, because we have more coming. We're going to talk about carbohydrates. We're going to talk about fats. We're going to talk about supplements. We're going to talk about all these things in separate doses like this. And then at some point, we'll bring it all together. And you'll be able to see, like, yes, there's more stuff in my cooler here. There's more stuff in John's cooler too. That's not the big rocks, right? We talk about moving the big rocks. Like, the big rocks are the protein, getting that set and right, like your sleep, all that stuff that we talk about all the time, lifting, getting your steps, heart rate, all the things to measure, like those are the big rocks. Once we have all that stuff, like John said, like get a history of having these things and doing them over and over again. Are you going to be able to do this every day? No. Do you do it every day? No. Do I do it every day? No. Don't beat yourself up about this stuff. It is, especially at the beginning, it's really confusing. You don't know what is coming. You're reading all these things. Like I said earlier, you go to the grocery store and it's like protein, add it with protein. We did it at the grocery store last week. We walked through the grocery store in knowing that we were prepping for this episode. We walked through the grocery store and we're like, oh, look, here's something that says protein. Let's read it. And we're like, oh, man, it's filled with junk. Like, it's garbage. You have to learn to discern what is and what isn't the proper thing for you. And unfortunately and or fortunately, you get to do this by trial. Like, you might like that kind of thing or you might not like it. You're going to try something and then be like, man, that made me feel like crap. Like, I don't feel good at all after eating that. Like, okay, noted. Don't eat it again. Or severely limit what you're eating there. But those are the main pieces of it. That's like the easiest. Like we talk about it when we're doing exercises, right? This is the most accessible version of this. This is not the advanced version of it yet, but we want to give you the advanced version, but we need to know that you can lift this weight comfortably before we move to the next thing. Make sense? I think so.
I think so too. Move the big rock of your protein. Work to get your desired body weight in grams of protein every day. Keep it simple. And if there's anything that we missed, or hopefully you watched this far, you tried some stuff, and now you have questions. That's how we can take this to the next level. You pushed the big rock of eating enough protein and you push it over, then there's going to be, should I eat grass-fed protein? Should I eat better, higher quality sources of protein, etc.? There's going to be more questions that come with that, but none of those can be answered if you're not eating enough and you don't know what it is. So let's please start there. Any questions that crop up out of this, please put them below. We will totally be coming back to this. Thank you all so much.
Tell us if you see us in class. Like, hey, I saw that. I saw your podcast. Really interested. I had a question. Like, I'm here. We'll answer it. Love you guys.
Be well. Thank you for making it this far in our podcast. I am not okay, and that's why I created www.iamnotok.com. It's a space where we can go to be seen, to be heard, and to not be judged. Everybody needs that. Everybody wants that. Here is our opportunity to have that. If you are ready to have your story heard, please go to www.iamnotok.com/contact, CONTACT, and fill out our form to sit right here across from me as a guest on our podcast. And if you're not ready to be a guest and tell your story live, but you are ready to start telling the truth, even if just to yourself, then please grab our free Speaking Your Truth guide, www.iamnotok.com/truth. We look forward to seeing you on the inside. Be well.